The secrets the Soviet Union tried to bury. The USSR, a state where the word secret carried real weight. Millions lived believing their homeland was the most powerful, the most righteous, and the safest place on earth. But behind the parades, the propaganda posters, and the thunder of victory marches lay another world, one filled with hidden laboratories, classified experiments, and decisions made in silence. Many of those archives are still sealed, gathering dust in forgotten basements. Yet, from time to time, fragments of truth escape, through the memories of old scientists, declassified reports, or the whispers of those who saw too much. Today, we'll lift the veil on 5 Soviet secrets, stories that reveal how far the USSR was willing to go in the name of power, fear, and control. The sea monster born in silence. After World War II, fear ruled the planet. The Cold War had begun. A race not only for weapons, but for supremacy of imagination. Soviet engineers, fueled by paranoia and ambition, worked day and night to create machines the world had never seen before. In 1966, an American spy satellite captured something strange on the shores of the Caspian Sea. A massive object, part plane, part ship, unlike anything ever built. Its engines were mounted near the nose, its wings enormous and oddly placed. Analysts were baffled. They called it the Caspian Sea Monster. Only years later would the truth emerge. It was an achronoplan, a hybrid craft that skimmed just meters above the water's surface, invisible to radar, and capable of carrying entire battalions or heavy tanks at over 300 miles per hour. It was faster than ships, stealthier than planes, and larger than a Boeing 747, nearly 2.5 times its length. To the outside world, it was a myth. To Soviet designers, it was a dream, one that could change the balance of power forever. But as with many Soviet marvels, the dream drowned in bureaucracy and silence. Today, what remains of that giant lies rusting on a Caspian beach, a relic of an empire that once tried to fly closer to the sea than to the sun. The nuclear suitcase that was never supposed to exist. In 1997, former Russian General Alexander Lebed made a shocking claim. He said the Soviet Union had created small nuclear bombs hidden inside briefcases, about 100 in total, and half of them were missing. The world froze. A single suitcase like that could wipe an entire city off the map. Lebed's words were later supported by scientist and political advisor Alexei Yablokov, who claimed the KGB began developing portable nuclear devices in the 1970s. Each one was said to be the size of a backpack, small, mobile, and deadly. The Ministry of Defense denied everything. Officially, no such weapons ever existed, but unofficially, the whispers continued. Engineers disappeared, reports were burned. And somewhere between myth and classified truth, the nuclear suitcase became one of the most haunting Cold War mysteries. Were they real? Or just a ghost story born from paranoia? No one knows for sure. And maybe that's exactly how the story was meant to end. The party's lost gold. When the Soviet Union collapsed, so did its myth of order. In the chaos that followed, something vanished. The party's gold. Billions in gold reserves, jewels, and foreign currency disappeared without a trace. In the 1990s, newspapers published countless theories. The gold was sold, hidden, or stolen by party elites and moved abroad. Then, a secret report surfaced,
authored by Russian State Secretary Gennady Burbulus. He claimed part of the gold reserves were indeed sold by the government in the final months of 1991. But the document itself was sealed, never made public. According to some foreign bankers, traces of those transactions led to hidden accounts in Switzerland and Luxembourg. Others believe the gold never left Russia at all, that it remains under the control of powerful individuals who once wore the party's red pins and now wear suits. No one can say for certain. The party's gold became both a symbol and a warning that when empires fall, treasure doesn't disappear, it changes hands.
Gorbachev's silence and the shadow of Chernobyl. April 26, 1986. A date that changed the world. When Reactor 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, it sent a cloud of radiation across Europe. But the Soviet people were told nothing. For 2 weeks, silence. On April 27th, the newspaper Pravda reported not on the disaster, but on a festive community cleanup day, a Subotnik, in honor of Lenin's birthday. Meanwhile, Swedish scientists detected radiation hundreds of miles away and sounded the alarm. The truth reached the West long before it reached the citizens of the USSR. Why did the Kremlin remain silent? Some say it was fear of showing weakness. Others claim the Soviet Union lacked proper instruments to measure radiation. But the real reason was simpler and darker. In the USSR, failure did not exist. It could not. When foreign nations offered aid, Moscow politely refused. We can handle this ourselves. But they couldn't. By the time the truth came out, thousands were already exposed. Children played in radioactive rain, while newspapers printed cheerful stories about productivity and unity. Gorbachev's silence lasted only 2 weeks, but its echo still lingers today. Chernobyl wasn't just a nuclear disaster. It was the moment when the mask of the Soviet system cracked, and the whole world saw what lay beneath. The Soviet Union is gone, but its secrets remain, buried in files, whispered in corridors, and etched into the memories of those who served it. Some truths will never be told, and perhaps that's exactly what the architects of those secrets intended. Because every great empire hides something in the shadows, and sometimes the shadows outlive the empire itself.